And the new Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar will assume charge at 9:30 a.m. in South Block, which is the office of the Ministry of External Affairs. He's taking over from Sujatha Singh, whose tenure was curtailed. Remember, this is the big story that we are in fact getting you. Let's quickly go across to Maha Siddiqui for more. Maha, what is the reason? Do we now know the reason why Sujatha was suddenly removed?
Well, I would say it's a mix of issues over here. The first issue that comes to my mind is the fact that over the last few months, there has been a feeling in the new government that Sujatha Singh has not been able to keep pace with the energy of the new Prime Minister Narendra Modi as far as foreign policy issues go. In fact, it was believed that Sujatha Singh was not coming out with dynamic solutions to foreign policy issues as what was the expectation of the new Prime Minister Narendra Modi. On the other hand, somebody like Mr.
We are joined in by Mr. Manish Tiwari on the phone line. Mr. Tiwari, can you hear me?
Is that Sanket?
Yes, Mr. Tiwari. A very good morning to you. Morning, Mr. Tiwari. What is this tweet all about, Mr. Tiwari?
Well, I was just wondering, or we were just wondering, whether the sacking of the Foreign Secretary is late retribution for the stand that she had taken on the Devyani Khorbode affair. Because coming as it does after a presidential visit, the coincidence raises eyebrows. Everybody is aware that she was the principal driver of the government stand when Devyani Khorbode was insulted by the U.S. prosecutors in New York. So therefore, government needs to answer, because if they were unhappy with the Foreign Secretary, they could have asked her to go in the past 8 months. Why now? What really impelled the decision immediately after a presidential visit?
Now, Mr. Tiwari, is this an insinuation? Is this what you personally feel? Or do you have some evidence or some knowledge about, this perhaps being the reason?
Insinuation is a wrong word to use.
Okay.
It's a legitimate question. After all, the Foreign Secretary is the head of the Foreign Service. And if you do decide to remove the Foreign Secretary, and the reason that you put out is because the Prime Minister was ostensibly unhappy with her, did the unhappiness suddenly surface after a presidential visit? If the unhappiness was there earlier, this action could have been taken. After all, they've been in office for 9 months. Why now? The timing raises eyebrows.
Now, Mr. Tiwari, my final question before we let you go. There is news coming in that even during the UPA's tenure, there were talks of removing Sujatha Singh as the Foreign Secretary and replacing her with Mr. Jaishankar. Mr. Jaishankar is believed to be a man of very high credibility as far as diplomacy is concerned. He is known for thinking out of the box. So there was this...
That's an insinuation, yes. Sanket. That's an insinuation that the UPA government was contemplating such action. And it is not about Jaishankar. Jaishankar is a very close personal friend. And I have great regard for his ability. I have known him when he was High Commissioner in Singapore and later our ambassador in China. I know of the role that he's played in the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Agreement. This is not about Jaishankar, the replacement. This is about the timing of the removal of the Foreign Secretary.
You think it's a political appointment? You think US put pressure and that is why...
Well, I am not speculating. It is for the government to clear the air. After all, a decision has been taken. A Foreign Secretary has been asked to go 6 months before her tenure was supposed to expire. Why was the decision taken? And the timing of the decision raises eyebrows. So it is for the government to clear the air. We are not speculating.
Okay, appreciate you joining us, Mr. Tiwari, this morning. Thanks very much. Congress leader Manish Tiwari there very categorically saying, is this retribution for the stand that Sujatha Singh actually took when she was Foreign Secretary, when the entire Devyani Khobragade episode came out in the public? Remember, this was a very ugly spat between the US and India. So it seems that the Congress is leading the charge as far as questioning the government is concerned and leaving it to the government to actually respond whether this is retribution or not. That's the latest news coming in at this moment. All right, we'll try getting more information as far as this story is concerned. Remember, Maha Siddiqui also joins us live with all the latest. Maha, just take us through what time is the new Foreign Secretary expected to take over?
Well, the circular for Sujatha Singh's curtailment of tenure by 6 months came out only last evening, and this morning, with immediate effect, Mr. S. Jaishankar is taking over as Foreign Secretary. In just about 25 minutes from now at 9:30 a.m. is when Mr. S. Jaishankar will take charge. So we will be posing these questions to him as to what was the necessity for curtailment of Sujatha Singh's tenure by 6 months, when she could have finished her tenure by August 2015 and perhaps made way for him. But why was it deemed necessary to put Mr. S. Jaishankar in her place in January itself? Those are some of the questions that will be put to Mr. S. Jaishankar as he takes charge this morning.
All right, that was Maha Siddiqui getting us all the latest. Remember, at 9:30 a.m. We are expecting the new Foreign Secretary to take over. We will be asking this question as to what he feels is the reason why Sujatha Singh was asked to go, or she was removed as Foreign Secretary, even the fact that 6 months were left to her service. Now, South Block now has a new Foreign Secretary. Wednesday late evening, Sujatha Singh was removed as the Foreign Secretary with 6 months to go before her term expired. An Indian envoy to the United States, Jaishankar, was appointed as the new Foreign Secretary. This just after 24 hours of the US President completing a successful state visit to India.
Agreement deals with all.
He is a man of few words, but a sharp negotiator. 60-year-old S. Jaishankar, ambassador to US, is now India's top diplomat. Wednesday late evening, the Cabinet Appointments Committee notified the big shake-up in the Ministry of External Affairs. Sujatha Singh, an officer of the 1976 IFS batch who had assumed office following an extension on the 1st of August 2013, resigned from the Foreign Secretary's post with immediate effect. She was the second Foreign Secretary to be removed before completion of her term, the first being A.P. Venkateswaran, who was sacked unceremoniously in 1987 by then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. S. Jaishankar's appointment as the new Foreign Secretary came just a day after Barack Obama concluded his India visit. And Jaishankar had an important role to play behind the scenes in ensuring its success. He was sent to the US as India's envoy in December of 2013, a diplomat who proved his mark on various occasions over the years. During the 21-day Depsang standoff between the Indian and Chinese militaries in 2013, he was credited with defusing the crisis. As Joint Secretary of America's Division, he was key negotiator of the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Agreement. He was also part of the team that resolved the dispute over the supply of US nuclear fuel to the Tarapur power station in India. Even PM Modi was very impressed with Jaishankar's handling of his successful tour to New York and Washington DC in September last year. No sooner had the word been out, some high praise could be seen on Twitter for India's top new diplomat. Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah tweeted, and I quote, "If the reports about Indian ambassador to US Jaishankar being appointed Foreign Secretary are correct, it's an excellent decision," unquote. Son of India's most prominent strategic experts K. Subramaniam, Jaishankar takes charge at a time when Modi government has felt the need of a strong foreign policy hand. With Smita Sharma in New Delhi, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.